Your mornings, your decisions, and your daily habits determine the growth you see every single day. Every choice matters, and wasting time can silently keep you from achieving your full potential. Today, you're going to learn practical steps to stop losing hours, gain control over your day, and create routines that push you toward real results. You'll discover how to focus on what matters, eliminate distractions, and structure your life to maximize impact. By the end of this video, you'll have clear, actionable strategies to build discipline, strengthen your focus, and make tangible progress every day. Stick with this, apply these methods consistently, and you'll notice measurable improvements in productivity, confidence, and personal growth. Subscribe to Audiobook Shift for more insights that turn knowledge into action, helping you grow smarter, stronger, and more successful every single day. Number 1, track your time to spot waste. Time is the single resource that never returns. How it is spent determines the shape of a life. Tracking time is not about guilt or punishment. It is about seeing clearly where energy goes, so choices become intentional instead of accidental. Start from the idea that clarity creates freedom. When every hour is accounted for, the fog lifts and decisions become simple. This chapter is an invitation to practice relentless honesty with your day and use that truth to build habits that multiply results. Begin with a time audit. For 2 full days, record everything. Not vague categories, exact activities and exact times. Use a simple table: task, start time, end time, duration, energy level, 1-5, impact, high, medium, low. Carry a small notebook or a phone note. When the phone buzzes, record why you checked it and how long you spent. When a meeting runs long, note the extra minutes. When a thought drifts to worry, mark it. The point is to capture reality without judgment. This becomes raw data you can examine. After the audit, group each entry into 4 buckets: deep work, complex, high-leverage tasks; shallow work, administrative, repetitive tasks; maintenance, sleep, exercise, meals, hygiene, and distractions; social media, news, pointless browsing, unnecessary chatting. Total the hours for each bucket. Most people discover an uncomfortable truth. Only a fraction of waking time goes to high-leverage work. That fraction is the battlefield where growth happens. The rest is noise that can be reclaimed. Translate the audit into ratios. If you work 8 hours and only 2 are deep work, that is a 25% focus rate. Aim to double it over a month. Small numericals make the problem concrete and solvable. Decide on a target. Increase deep work by 30 minutes per day, or reduce time lost to distraction by 50%. Metrics turn intention into progress. Design a daily template based on natural energy cycles. Track not only what is done, but when it is done, and how your energy felt. Many people waste peak cognitive hours on low-value tasks because nothing forced a choice. If your energy peaks between 8 a.m. and 11 a.m., protect that window for the most important work. Schedule admin tasks for the afternoon when focus dips. Use the data from the audit to set blocks that align with the body's rhythm. Build simple rituals around each block. If a deep work block begins, prepare a short pre-work ritual. Close tabs not needed. Put the phone on Do Not Disturb. Write the single outcome you must achieve in that block. Define the outcome in 1 sentence. This makes every deep work block measurable. When the block ends, perform a 1-minute reflection. Did the outcome happen? If not, identify the interruption and create a rule to prevent it next time. Introduce time box sessions. Use a timer and protect the session. The Pomodoro technique, 25 minutes focused, 5 minutes break, works because it reduces the psychological friction to start. For more demanding creative work, experiment with 90-minute focused sessions, followed by a 20-30 minute break. The key is consistency. Regular, protected blocks beat sporadic bursts. Use the audit to choose a rhythm, and then test it for 2 weeks. Track results and adjust. Eliminate time drains with specific rules. Meetings without clear agendas become thieves. Set a rule: no meeting without a written objective and a desired decision. Limit meeting length to 30 minutes, and stand if possible. Standing shortens conversations and forces focus. For email, Apply a strict policy. Check twice daily at scheduled times and use concise templates for routine responses. Social media requires a boundary. Schedule exactly 15 minutes daily or use app timers. If a temptation still pulls, use an app or built-in settings to block chosen sites during work blocks. The audit will reveal which apps consume hours. Block them deliberately. Automate and batch. The audit will show repeated small tasks that eat time across the week. Identify 3 such tasks and automate or batch them. Examples: schedule social media posts in one sitting, automate bill payments, create canned email replies, and use templates for recurring documents. Batching similar tasks reduces cognitive switching and increases speed. After batching, track the change. How much time did batching free up this week? Small wins compound. Make a habit of pre-planning the day the night before. Spend 10 minutes reviewing the day's audit data and set one audacious priority, one result that, if completed, would make the day a success. Put that priority at the top of the calendar in the morning block. When time is tracked and sacred, completing that single priority becomes the metric of success, not the illusion of busyness. Each night, record what went well and one specific interruption to fix tomorrow. This nightly loop turns awareness into improvement. Use a simple scoring system for weekly reviews. Each completed priority earns points. Each interruption that broke a deep work block without good reason deducts points. At the end of the week, review the audit and the scores. Ask 3 questions. Where did time leak? What rule prevented leaks? What one change will be implemented next week? The review is not punitive. It is strategic. It converts data into decisions. Confront resistance directly. Recording time exposes patterns of avoidance. If scrolling feeds appears often before deep work, name it. Avoidance by novelty. Create an immediate countermeasure. When temptation arises, do a 2-minute grounding practice. Breathe for a minute, read the single-sentence priority, then start with a 5-minute micro-task. Frequent, small starts overcome inertia. Tracking reveals the triggers so the countermeasures can be targeted. Measure return on time invested. For high-impact tasks, calculate simple outcomes: revenue per hour, progress toward a goal, or reduced future workload. When deciding between tasks, choose based on estimated return, not perceived urgency. The audit helps build intuition for which activities yield returns. Over time, prioritize the top 20% of tasks that produce 80% of results. That selection becomes your daily compass. Create physical cues that reinforce the new behavior. A clean desk signals readiness for focused work. A dedicated playlist or ambient sound triggers the brain to enter concentration. A visible timer on the desk provides an honest countdown. These cues are anchors that reduce decision fatigue. Tracking reveals whether cues succeed. If a particular cue fails to improve focus in a week, change it. Celebrate measurable progress. When tracking shows an increase in deep work hours or a drop in distraction minutes, acknowledge it. Small celebrations reinforce habit formation. Choose rituals that are simple: an uninterrupted cup of tea, a short walk, or 5 minutes of reading. Reward systems that recognize discipline strengthen repeat behavior. Track time with tools that match temperament. Some prefer pen and paper for the tactile honesty. Others need the automated metrics of apps. Use basic tools first. Start with a simple spreadsheet. Record time blocks and categories. If manual tracking proves too heavy, use apps that run in the background and provide summaries. The audit should always remain under your control. Automated tools must not replace conscious reflection. The data should feed the weekly review, not drown. Apply the Stoic lens. Control what can be controlled and accept what cannot. External interruptions will happen, but the choice of response remains yours. Tracking time cultivates an internal locus of control. When the day is chaotic, return to the recorded data and pick one small corrective action. Shorten the next meeting, reschedule a non-essential call, or shift the start of the deep work block. Small course corrections compound. Discipline is not perfection. It is the practice of returning to intention after every deviation. Finally, approach tracking as a long-term conversation with yourself. The first audit exposes raw truth. The second audit a month later reveals progress. The practice is not a one-time fix, but a way of living with awareness. Each recorded hour becomes a lesson. Over months, reclaimed hours accumulate into skill, projects completed, healthier relationships, and a sense of calm that comes from purposeful use of time. Begin now. Commit to a simple, honest audit, and carry the data forward into deliberate planning. Tracking time removes excuses. It replaces vague promises with measurable facts and gives the steady scaffolding that allows ambition to become daily practice. Over time, time itself will bend toward the person who treats it with respect and precision. Number 2. Prioritize tasks that create real impact. The key to transforming time into progress is not just doing more, but doing what matters most. Many people fill their days with activity and yet feel stuck because most of that activity produces little real return. Prioritizing tasks that create genuine impact is the bridge between effort and results. It is the difference between being busy and being effective. Recognizing this distinction is the first step toward mastery of your own life. The habit of prioritization begins with clarity. Clarity about goals, clarity about outcomes, and clarity about the value of each action you undertake. Start by identifying what impact truly means in your life. High-impact tasks are those that move you closer to your objectives, contribute meaningfully to growth, and create tangible results over time. These are the actions that, when done consistently, compound into extraordinary achievements. Low-impact tasks, even if they feel urgent, often distract from real progress. Understanding this distinction is not theoretical, it is practical. A single hour spent on a critical project can deliver more advancement than several hours spent on minor tasks that merely fill time. To implement this habit, begin with a daily and weekly review. List every task you face and evaluate its effect on your goals. Ask a simple question for each task. Will this action produce significant results if completed today or this week? Rate tasks based on expected outcome, not perceived importance or ease. Many people prioritize tasks that feel comfortable or visible rather than meaningful. Effective prioritization requires discomfort, choosing work that challenges you, that demands focus, and that stretches your capabilities. Use the principle of leverage to guide your decisions. Not all actions carry equal weight. Some choices ripple across multiple areas of life, multiplying their influence. For instance, investing time in learning a critical skill or completing a strategic project often yields far greater results than attending minor meetings or responding to routine emails. Leverage amplifies effort, making selective prioritization essential. To harness it, map out tasks in terms of impact versus effort. Identify the few tasks that require effort but deliver outsized results, and commit to completing them first. In practice, this means constructing a priority matrix. Divide tasks into 4 categories: high impact and high urgency, high impact and low urgency, low impact and high urgency, and low impact and low urgency. Focus relentlessly on high impact tasks, regardless of urgency, while minimizing time spent on low impact work. Avoid the temptation to react to distractions simply because they appear pressing. Urgency without significance is a trap that keeps ambition trapped in a cycle of motion without progress. The habit of prioritizing high-impact work also involves ruthless decision-making. Each day presents choices that determine how energy is invested. When faced with competing demands, ask which action will move the needle the furthest. This question must be answered without emotion or habit-driven bias. Clarity comes from detachment, not impulse. Develop a mindset where every choice is a deliberate allocation of a finite resource, your time. Recognize that saying yes to one task inherently means saying no to another, often more valuable task. The discipline of discernment becomes a powerful lever for success. Focus is inseparable from prioritization. Once high-impact tasks are identified, protect them fiercely. Shield these blocks of time from interruptions, distractions, and trivial responsibilities. Even small, fragmented attention drains effectiveness. Commit to working on critical tasks in uninterrupted sessions. Begin with the most challenging or meaningful task first thing in the day, when energy is at its peak. Completing high-impact work early creates momentum, builds confidence, and reduces the stress of deferred responsibility. It is a deliberate strategy that ensures the most valuable contributions receive the attention they deserve. Another dimension is aligning tasks with long-term objectives. Prioritization without context produces short-term gains, but fails to build meaningful outcomes. Consider every task in terms of its contribution to the life you desire. High-impact actions are rarely isolated. They are connected to broader goals, values, and aspirations. Evaluate work not only on immediate output, but also on how it positions you for sustained growth. This perspective shifts the mindset from mere activity to purposeful advancement. Each action becomes a deliberate step on a well-defined path. Time estimation is a practical tool to reinforce prioritization. Assign realistic durations to tasks based on their complexity and significance. Underestimating effort can create false urgency, causing high-impact work to be crowded out. Overestimating, however, can inflate perceived difficulty, prompting procrastination. Tracking actual versus estimated time enhances judgment, allowing future prioritization decisions to be sharper and more precise. This ongoing calibration strengthens both efficiency and effectiveness. Delegation and elimination are powerful complements to prioritization. Not every task deserves your personal attention. Identify low-impact work that can be delegated or eliminated entirely. Freeing mental bandwidth allows concentration on work that produces real results. Delegation is not a sign of weakness, but a strategic allocation of resources. Elimination requires courage, releasing tasks that may feel obligatory, but offer minimal return. Both practices reinforce the principle that impact is measured by results, not by how busy one appears. The habit of reflection enhances prioritization. At the end of each day or week, review completed tasks and their outcomes. Identify which actions move the needle and which consume time without producing value. This practice is not about criticism, but about learning. Reflection exposes patterns, reveals hidden distractions, and illuminates areas where attention can be better focused. Insights gained through reflection inform adjustments, ensuring that future effort is increasingly concentrated on what matters most. Consistency is the final pillar. High-impact prioritization is not a one-time exercise. It is a daily practice that requires vigilance. Repetition reinforces judgment, strengthens discipline, and gradually transforms decision-making into an automatic, intuitive skill. As days and weeks accumulate, the cumulative effect of focusing on high-value work becomes visible in tangible progress, achievements, and personal growth. The habit becomes a self-sustaining force, shaping not just individual days, but entire trajectories of life. Adopting this habit demands honesty and courage. It requires facing uncomfortable truths about wasted effort, distractions, and misplaced priorities. It requires the willingness to challenge convenience, social expectation, and comfort. Yet the reward is profound. Time spent on what truly matters yields results that compound, creating momentum, mastery, and a sense of purposeful living. Every hour invested in high-impact work is a statement of intention, a declaration of control over life, and a commitment to long-term excellence. Prioritization also develops emotional resilience. By focusing on meaningful work, the noise of trivial interruptions becomes less disturbing. Satisfaction grows not from the quantity of actions, but from the quality of results. This approach reduces stress, enhances clarity, and fosters confidence. It creates a life in which accomplishments are visible and meaningful rather than fragmented and unfulfilling. Each prioritized task becomes a step toward a life lived deliberately, with attention aligned to purpose. Ultimately, prioritizing tasks that create real impact transforms the relationship with time. Time no longer feels like a resource slipping away uncontrollably, but becomes an ally, a medium through which goals are realized. It cultivates a mindset in which every action is weighed, every decision intentional, and every effort aligned with higher objectives. By consistently choosing work that matters most, life gains focus, progress accelerates, and the gap between potential and achievement narrows. The path to growth and mastery is built, one deliberate choice at a time. This habit is not abstract, it is actionable. Identify, assess, schedule, protect, and reflect. Let each decision about what to do and what to defer be guided by impact. Guard attention, align effort with purpose, delegate or eliminate what matters least, and measure progress. By embedding these practices into daily routines, prioritization becomes instinctive, creating momentum, clarity, and freedom. The outcome is a life in which effort consistently translates into tangible achievement, where the hours in a day become meaningful, and where growth multiplies exponentially. By choosing the actions that deliver real impact, the ordinary transforms into extraordinary. Prioritization is the lever by which time, energy, and ambition converge into measurable success. It converts intention into accomplishment, clutter into clarity, and potential into tangible results. Each day becomes an opportunity to practice this skill, each week a measure of progress, and each month a reflection of disciplined, purposeful living. Through prioritization, the life you imagine becomes the life you build. Number 3. Eliminate distractions before starting deep work. Deep work is the arena where meaningful achievement is forged. It is the state in which concentration runs deep, ideas take shape, and results emerge that far exceed ordinary effort. Yet deep work is fragile. It requires undisturbed attention, a clear mind, and a controlled environment. Distractions are the greatest enemy of this state. They fragment thought, dilute energy, and steal time without leaving any tangible return. Eliminating distractions before starting serious work is not a mere convenience. It is the foundation upon which high-value accomplishments are built. It transforms work from noise into creation, from effort into mastery. Begin by identifying sources of distraction with complete honesty. This includes both external interruptions and internal impulses. External distractions often take obvious forms: notifications from phones, pings from messaging apps, noisy coworkers, unnecessary meetings, or chaotic surroundings. Internal distractions are subtle but equally destructive. Wandering thoughts, compulsive checking of email, random planning, and worry about unrelated matters. Tracking these interruptions for a few days provides insight into patterns, revealing which triggers repeatedly pull attention away. Without recognition, elimination is impossible. Once sources are identified, create an environment that physically and mentally signals readiness for focus. A clean workspace has an outsized effect on concentration. Remove clutter, unnecessary objects, and anything that tempts the mind to drift. Arrange materials required for the task in advance, so reaching for them does not require interrupting focus. Small details like adjusting lighting, seating, and temperature reduce subtle distractions that otherwise diminish endurance. A prepared space communicates to the brain that work is about to begin and establishes a psychological boundary against interruption. Digital distractions demand rigorous management. Phones, computers, and connected devices are both tools and traps. Silence notifications entirely before starting deep work. Turn off sounds, vibrations, and alerts that signal attention to the outside world. Close all irrelevant browser tabs and applications. Consider using website blockers to prevent accidental wandering into low-value digital activity. For email, establish strict check-in periods and defer all incoming messages until the designated time. The discipline to isolate devices and digital platforms from work blocks ensures that attention is applied where it matters most. Establish clear start and end times for deep work sessions. Without a defined window, the mind drifts and resistance grows. Short, intense bursts often outperform prolonged, loosely defined periods of focus. Define the session's purpose and intended outcome before starting, and write it down in a single specific sentence. This pre-commitment sharpens intent, giving the mind a clear target. Knowing precisely what needs to be accomplished transforms vague effort into measurable progress and strengthens the ability to resist interruption. Mental preparation is as important as physical preparation. A wandering mind is one of the most persistent distractions. Practice a brief pre-work ritual to align focus. This could involve deep breathing, a short stretch, visualization of the outcome, or repeating a simple statement of intention. The ritual serves as a bridge, signaling a shift from ordinary awareness to concentrated effort. It creates a mental firewall against the habitual drift of attention and primes the brain for sustained cognitive engagement. Address unavoidable interruptions with structured rules. Life inevitably presents urgent matters that demand attention. Establish clear protocols, only respond to critical interruptions immediately. For everything else, defer to a scheduled break. Inform coworkers, family or housemates of boundaries by setting visible indicators, such as a closed door, a do not disturb sign, or a status notification. Communicate expectations so that the environment supports focus instead of undermining it. Boundaries, once consistently applied, train others to respect the sanctity of deep work periods. Micro-distractions, like the urge to check a phone or glance at social media, require preemptive strategies. Place devices out of reach, turn screens away from view, or store them in another room. Some individuals benefit from a small physical token, like a stone or a coin, that is held whenever the urge arises to divert attention from the task. When the mind drifts, acknowledge the impulse briefly without engagement, and return focus immediately. Strengthening this mental discipline reduces fragmentation and gradually expands capacity for sustained concentration. Time management reinforces distraction elimination. Use a timer or clock to define focused sessions, creating both pressure and structure. The knowledge that a session has a fixed duration reduces temptation to procrastinate or multitask. Regular breaks are essential. Without them, cognitive energy diminishes and resistance to distraction increases. Use breaks deliberately, stepping away to reset, hydrate, or move physically, but avoid substituting one distraction for another. The rhythm of focused work and intentional rest cultivates resilience and consistency. Content and task clarity are vital. A vague objective invites the mind to wander. Before beginning deep work, write down the exact outcome desired. Break complex tasks into actionable steps. This creates a roadmap that the mind can follow without friction. When attention falters, the plan provides a clear cue for resuming focus. The brain thrives on structure in high-stakes cognitive work. By eliminating ambiguity, the mind has fewer opportunities to default to irrelevant activity. Consider sensory management. Noise, light, and temperature affect concentration profoundly. White noise or instrumental music can mask environmental disruption. Adequate lighting prevents eye strain and fatigue, while comfortable seating reduces physical discomfort that would otherwise draw attention away. Minor environmental adjustments, often overlooked, enhance sustained engagement. Awareness of these factors allows proactive control rather than passive reaction to distraction. Internal motivation and alignment strengthen the habit. Deep work feels more compelling when connected to meaningful goals. Understand why the task matters and visualize the result. Aligning effort with purpose reduces the allure of distractions and reinforces persistence. When work is meaningful, resisting interruption becomes easier, as the payoff is felt immediately in the mind's sense of progress, rather than postponed for abstract future reward. Motivation, purpose, and clarity create a self-sustaining focus loop. Reflecting on deep work sessions is essential. After each session, review what was accomplished, how many distractions occurred, and which strategies succeeded or failed. Adjust future approaches based on this reflection. Continuous refinement turns trial and error into disciplined practice. Over time, patterns emerge, allowing the individual to predict and prevent common sources of disruption. Reflection converts experience into wisdom, improving both efficiency and depth of focus. Accountability amplifies distraction control. Share goals or outcomes with a mentor, colleague, or peer who can monitor progress. The knowledge that someone else is aware of commitments increases adherence to deep work principles. Accountability does not replace intrinsic discipline, but reinforces it, creating external pressure to maintain focus and respect allocated time blocks. Gradual expansion of deep work duration strengthens attention. Begin with manageable sessions, perhaps 45-60 minutes, and increase length as endurance grows. The ability to sustain attention over longer periods is a skill developed through consistent practice. Eliminating distractions at the start and reinforcing focus through environment, ritual, and planning allows the mind to stretch and deepen, creating a foundation for extraordinary cognitive output. Ultimately, eliminating distractions before starting deep work is a practice of self-mastery. It requires awareness, preparation, discipline, and reflection. Each interruption prevented, each impulse resisted, strengthens the ability to concentrate, think critically, and produce at the highest level. The habit is cumulative. Consistent elimination of distractions turns time into a medium of creation, transforming ordinary effort into profound achievement. By controlling the environment, mind, and priorities, deep work becomes a predictable outcome rather than a rare event, and meaningful progress emerges reliably from focused, undisturbed attention. Number 4. Set strict deadlines for every task. Deadlines are more than arbitrary dates on a calendar. They are instruments that convert intention into action. Without them, even the most important tasks can drift indefinitely, lost to the comfort of procrastination or the illusion of limitless time. Setting strict deadlines is the difference between aspiration and accomplishment, between ideas that linger in thought and those that manifest into tangible results. The power of a deadline lies not in pressure for its own sake, but in providing a boundary that channels effort, sharpens focus, and enforces accountability. It transforms vague intentions into measurable commitment. Start by assigning a clear deadline to every task, no matter how small. Many people reserve deadlines only for major projects, but minor tasks accumulate into unseen time sinks. Even simple tasks like responding to emails, preparing reports, or scheduling calls benefit from a fixed completion time. The act of giving a precise endpoint changes behavior. Work begins with urgency rather than hesitation, momentum develops naturally, and completion becomes inevitable rather than optional. Each deadline is a promise to yourself, a commitment that reinforces discipline. Effective deadlines are realistic yet firm. Avoid extremes. Deadlines too far in the future invite procrastination, while impossible deadlines induce stress without sustainable productivity. Estimate how long a task truly requires, and then reduce that time slightly to create productive pressure. A tighter window forces decisions, eliminates unnecessary steps, and accelerates execution. Over time, consistent practice in setting realistic deadlines strengthens judgment and helps accurately gauge the effort required for complex tasks. This skill alone multiplies efficiency, breaking larger projects into smaller deadline-bound segments, enhances progress, and reduces overwhelm. A long-term goal can appear daunting, inviting delay or avoidance. By dividing the work into discrete components, each with its own strict endpoint, the project transforms into a series of achievable steps. Completing each segment builds confidence, maintains momentum, and provides measurable indicators of progress. The accumulation of these small successes propels the entire project forward, more effectively than sporadic bursts of unfocused effort. Pair deadlines with visible tracking. Write each due date in a place that is seen frequently: a calendar, planner, or digital task manager. Visibility reinforces the mental commitment, keeps focus on immediate priorities, and prevents important work from slipping through the cracks. The mind responds to visual cues. Seeing deadlines regularly primes attention, making the task's urgency tangible rather than abstract. Over time, this practice strengthens self-discipline and develops a natural responsiveness to temporal boundaries. Deadlines also serve as a shield against perfectionism. The pressure of a finite timeline forces decisive action. When unlimited time is available, tasks expand indefinitely to fill it, and the pursuit of perfection delays. Restrict deadlines, cultivate a bias toward completion, emphasizing progress over unattainable ideals. Refinement can occur iteratively, but the initial action is non-negotiable. This approach ensures that work is delivered, learned from, and improved continuously, rather than remaining in an endless loop of preparation. Establish accountability mechanisms tied to deadlines. Communicate your deadlines to colleagues, supervisors, or mentors. Publicly committing to a due date increases the psychological cost of delay and reinforces adherence. Accountability is not about fear. It is about creating a system in which commitments carry tangible weight. The combination of internal resolve and external expectation strengthens follow-through and reduces the likelihood of procrastination, eroding progress. Use strict deadlines to optimize daily scheduling. Start each day by reviewing tasks and their respective deadlines. Allocate time blocks in descending order of urgency and importance. Tasks with imminent deadlines claim priority, ensuring that critical work is addressed before less significant activity. This practice transforms the abstract notion of time into concrete periods of structured action. It also provides clarity about trade-offs. Some tasks may need to be deferred, delegated, or eliminated, allowing focus to remain on what must be accomplished immediately. Deadlines amplify focus by creating a psychological boundary. Knowing there is a finite period to complete a task encourages full engagement and discourages multitasking. The mind concentrates on the essential steps required to finish, rather than diffusing energy across unnecessary actions. This concentration accelerates execution, deepens attention, and reduces wasted time. The presence of a deadline converts intention into deliberate motion, making productivity measurable and consistent. Reflect on results to refine future deadlines. At the end of each week, review which tasks were completed on time, which were delayed, and why. Evaluate whether time estimates were accurate and whether deadlines were respected. This feedback loop strengthens planning skills and improves future projections. Learning from each cycle transforms deadlines from static markers into tools for continuous improvement. The insight gained allows for increasingly precise scheduling, more efficient work allocation, and consistent achievement. Consider the interaction of multiple deadlines. Many tasks and projects overlap, creating potential conflicts and cognitive strain. Prioritize deadlines according to impact, complexity, and dependencies. Recognize which deadlines are non-negotiable and which have flexibility, then schedule accordingly. Conflict resolution requires conscious decision-making. Tasks that produce high leverage should claim the earliest time slots, while lower-value tasks are postponed or delegated. This disciplined orchestration ensures energy is directed where it matters most. Deadlines encourage the elimination of non-essential work. A task forced into a strict time frame reveals hidden inefficiencies. Steps that are unnecessary, redundant, or low impact become apparent. Compression of time requires simplification and focus. Each deadline exposes the difference between critical actions and optional embellishments. This process of refinement increases productivity, sharpens decision-making, and enhances the quality of output by concentrating attention on what matters most. Psychological preparation reinforces adherence to deadlines. Visualize completing the task on schedule and imagine the satisfaction and momentum it generates. Anticipate obstacles and plan contingency measures. This mental rehearsal primes the mind for execution and reduces friction when challenges arise. A combination of preparation, foresight, and strict timing transforms deadlines from arbitrary constraints into guiding structures for achievement. Deadlines are cumulative accelerators. Completing one task on time builds confidence, reinforces the habit of timely execution, and motivates the next action. Each successful adherence strengthens self-trust and creates a chain reaction of productivity. The energy generated from meeting deadlines propels additional tasks forward and cultivates a rhythm of consistent accomplishment. Momentum, once established, compounds across days and weeks, turning disciplined timing into a measurable advantage. Finally, the discipline of strict deadlines cultivates personal integrity and mastery. Time is finite, and respecting deadlines reflects respect for both the self and the outcomes pursued. Each completed task strengthens self-control, reinforces accountability, and enhances the capacity to deliver consistently. Over time, the habit of setting and honoring deadlines transforms the way work is approached, from reactive and scattered to deliberate and purposeful. Life governed by well-chosen deadlines becomes a life in which intentions translate reliably into results. Energy is applied efficiently, and ambition finds a structured path to tangible achievement. Strict deadlines convert potential into action, hesitation into momentum, and intention into visible outcomes. They create urgency without chaos, enforce focus without rigidity, and turn abstract goals into tangible accomplishments. By integrating the habit of setting precise, realistic deadlines for every task, progress becomes predictable, productivity measurable, and personal discipline observable. The practice transforms time into a framework for achievement, ensuring that every hour counts and every effort contributes to meaningful advancement. Mastery of deadlines is mastery of action itself, shaping a life in which purpose and execution align seamlessly. Number 5. Batch similar tasks to boost efficiency. Productivity is often undermined by the constant switching of mental gears. Each task, no matter how small, carries a cognitive cost when it interrupts another. Multitasking, or frequently jumping between unrelated tasks, fragments attention, drains energy, and slows overall progress. One of the most powerful strategies to overcome this hidden inefficiency is batching, grouping similar tasks together and completing them consecutively. Batching is not just an organizational technique, it is a method of aligning the mind's natural rhythm with action, multiplying output while conserving mental energy. It transforms scattered effort into concentrated momentum and turns the ordinary workday into a focused engine of results. Begin by identifying tasks that share common qualities or processes. Administrative work, like responding to emails, making calls, filing documents, and updating spreadsheets, often falls into one category. Creative work, such as drafting content, designing visuals, or brainstorming ideas, forms another. Repetitive operational tasks, like data entry, invoicing, or scheduling, create a third. Observing patterns across a typical week reveals opportunities for grouping work that previously existed in a fragmented, inefficient state. The clarity gained from categorization is the first step toward effective batch. Once similar tasks are identified, assign dedicated time blocks for each batch. Instead of sporadically addressing emails throughout the day, schedule a single window where all emails are answered. Instead of sporadic creative bursts, reserve a continuous session for drafting or designing. Concentrating similar cognitive processes reduces the time lost to context switching and enhances the depth of focus. The mind thrives in continuity, and batching provides the consistency necessary to achieve both speed and quality. Batching also leverages rhythm and flow. Each task type requires specific mental or emotional states, and shifting between states demands effort. For example, switching from detailed analytical work to creative brainstorming interrupts concentration and decreases efficiency. By completing similar tasks in sequence, the brain remains in the same cognitive mode, allowing focus to deepen, decisions to become sharper, and productivity to accelerate. Over time, batching creates a mental flow that makes extended work sessions feel more natural and sustainable. Prioritize high-impact batches first. Not all group tasks carry equal weight. Begin the day or week with batches that deliver the most significant results. This ensures that energy and focus are directed where they produce the greatest return. Completing high-value batches early also generates momentum and builds confidence, reducing the temptation to procrastinate on more challenging work. Lower impact or routine batches can be scheduled during periods of lower learning, aligning task difficulty with natural performance cycles. Preparation amplifies the effectiveness of batching. Gather all necessary materials, resources, and tools before starting a batch. If making calls, ensure numbers, scripts, and notes are ready. If drafting documents, organize references, templates, and data in advance. This eliminates interruptions within the batch, maintaining momentum and preventing small obstacles from breaking concentration. Preparation ensures that the batch progresses seamlessly and maximizes output per unit of time. Use batching to streamline decision-making. Repeatedly making similar choices across scattered tasks increases mental fatigue. Grouping similar tasks reduces the number of decisions, preserving cognitive energy for meaningful judgment rather than routine repetition. For instance, handling all approvals, edits, or follow-ups in one session minimizes decision fatigue, and ensures consistent quality. Cognitive consistency also increases speed, allowing tasks to be completed more efficiently than if approached piecemeal. Technology can support batching, but it requires disciplined application. Automation tools, templates, and software can reduce repetitive manual work and maintain focus within a batch. Scheduling apps, macro scripts, and workflow software allow similar tasks to be executed consecutively with minimal disruption. However, technology should complement intentional design rather than replace conscious effort. Over-reliance on digital solutions without thoughtful batching can still fragment attention, reducing overall effectiveness. Evaluate the results of each batch to refine the process. Track time spent, output quality, and energy levels. Identify points where interruptions occurred, where focus waned, or where workflow could be smooth. Reflection informs adjustments, allowing future batches to be more efficient and aligned with goals. Continuous refinement transforms batching from a static method into a dynamic practice that evolves with changing responsibilities and priorities. Batching fosters discipline by creating structured work patterns. When tasks are grouped and scheduled, the workday becomes predictable, and mental energy is preserved. This structured approach reduces the stress of scattered obligations and eliminates the constant decision-making of what to do next. Predictability allows for deeper engagement with each batch, reinforcing the habit of focused effort and creating a rhythm in which productivity is sustained and amplified. Complex tasks also benefit from micro-batching. Large projects can be divided into smaller, logically related components, each completed in a dedicated session. Writing a book, for example, can be divided into research, outlining, drafting chapters, and editing. Each stage requires a different cognitive approach, and batching ensures that energy is concentrated within each mode rather than diluted by constant shifting. Progress becomes visible, manageable, and measurable, reducing overwhelm and maintaining motivation. Batching supports the alignment of work with energy cycles. Recognize when focus, creativity, or stamina peaks during the day, and schedule high-demand batches accordingly. Routine or low-impact batches can occupy periods of reduced energy, optimizing efficiency without forcing the mind into prolonged strain. This alignment respects natural rhythms, allowing sustained high performance while preventing burnout. Over time, awareness of energy cycles and their integration with batching becomes instinctive, enhancing both output and well-being. The psychological effect of completing a batch is significant. Finishing a group series of tasks generates a sense of accomplishment that fuels further action. Momentum compounds as the completion of one batch naturally leads to readiness for the next. This positive feedback loop strengthens discipline, reinforces the value of structured effort, and motivates continued engagement with high-priority work. Each completed batch is both a measurable outcome and a psychological boost, reinforcing the habit of focused execution. Batching also reveals inefficiencies that might otherwise remain hidden. By concentrating similar tasks, redundant steps, unnecessary processes, or repeated mistakes become more visible. The practice highlights opportunities for simplification, streamlining, or automation. Observing these patterns allows for continuous improvement, increasing efficiency not just within the current batch, but across future work as well. Batching creates both immediate productivity gains and long-term operational clarity. Collaboration benefits from batching when multiple tasks intersect with others. Grouping similar responsibilities allows better coordination and reduces waiting time. For example, responding to all team inquiries in one session decreases the back and forth of asynchronous communication. Scheduling joint reviews or collective tasks in blocks ensures that collective attention is concentrated, decisions are faster, and outcomes are achieved with less friction. The efficiency extends beyond individual effort, benefiting the entire team or network. Finally, batching cultivates mastery over attention. By deliberately controlling the sequence of work, the mind learns to sustain focus, reduce susceptibility to distraction, and apply energy strategically. Each batch becomes an exercise in self-discipline, mental resilience, and intentional productivity. Over time, the cumulative effect of consistently batched work elevates the capacity for both depth and breadth of achievement. Tasks that once felt endless or fragmented now flow in a rhythm of purpose, speed, and efficiency. Batching similar tasks is not merely a time-saving tactic. It is a framework for sustained performance. It transforms scattered effort into concentrated action, conserves mental energy, accelerates progress, and creates measurable outcomes. By identifying patterns, scheduling dedicated blocks, preparing thoroughly, aligning with energy cycles, and continuously refining the process, batching multiplies productivity without increasing effort. The habit shapes a workday where focus, efficiency, and accomplishment converge, allowing consistent progress toward meaningful goals and turning ordinary routines into powerful engines of success. Number 6. Say no to non-essential commitments daily. Every person has the same 24 hours, yet the difference between ordinary results and extraordinary outcomes often comes down to what is chosen to be included and what is deliberately excluded. The ability to say no is a cornerstone of high performance. Each time a non-essential commitment is accepted, energy, attention, and time are diverted from work that truly matters. Refusing low-value obligations is not selfishness. It is an act of strategic preservation, a conscious decision to protect resources that are finite and irreplaceable. Mastery over one's schedule begins with the courage to decline what does not advance purpose or progress. Start by defining what is essential. Essential commitments are those that directly contribute to meaningful goals, personal growth, or critical responsibilities. They are actions that produce measurable outcomes or align with long-term objectives. Anything outside this category is non-essential, regardless of how persuasive, urgent, or tempting it may appear. Clarity about what truly matters establishes a filter for decision-making and reduces ambiguity when opportunities or requests arise. Recognize the hidden cost of saying yes. Every non-essential commitment consumes more than the time spent on the activity. It fragments focus, interrupts momentum, and increases cognitive load. Each diversion requires effort to return to primary work, creating hidden delays and lost productivity. Non-essential tasks may seem small or harmless, but the accumulation of these choices can quietly erode efficiency, distract from high-impact work, and deplete mental energy. Awareness of these consequences strengthens resolve to decline politely, yet firmly. Practice evaluating requests immediately against your priorities. When a new obligation appears, pause and ask a simple question. Does this advance my goals, values, or critical responsibilities? If the answer is no or uncertain, decline or defer. Avoid automatic compliance driven by habit, social expectation, or fear of disappointing others. Responding with conscious intent preserves autonomy and ensures that available time is dedicated to work with meaningful impact. This deliberate evaluation transforms reactive behavior into disciplined, strategic action. Develop a clear, polite, and firm method for saying no. Words should communicate respect for the request while maintaining boundaries. Avoid over-explaining or offering lengthy justifications. A concise acknowledgement followed by a refusal communicates decisiveness and professionalism. For example, one might say, "I appreciate the opportunity, but I cannot take this on at the moment." Such clarity reduces negotiation pressure, reinforces boundaries, and minimizes mental energy spent defending choices. Confidence in saying no grows stronger with repetition and consistency. Use scheduling as a tool to reinforce refusal of non-essential tasks. Block out dedicated periods for priority work, rest, and essential commitments. Treat these blocks as non-negotiable. When a new request arises, compare it to the pre-established schedule. If the task does not align with these protected blocks, decline or postpone it. Visual reinforcement of commitments strengthens the psychological basis for saying no, creating a system in which time is respected by both the individual and those around them. Recognize the emotional challenges associated with refusal. Social pressures, guilt, or fear of missing out often interfere with the ability to say no. These emotions are natural but must be managed. Remind yourself that every yes to a non-essential task is simultaneously a no to your priorities. By framing refusal as an act of strategic alignment, rather than denial, internal resistance diminishes, and the decision gains moral and practical clarity. Emotional awareness combined with rational reasoning ensures decisions are deliberate rather than reactive. Batch non-essential declines to reduce decision fatigue. When multiple requests arrive, address them collectively rather than responding individually in a scattered manner. This approach prevents small distractions from repeatedly interrupting workflow and preserves mental energy for high-impact work. By consolidating decisions about what to accept and refuse, the mind can maintain focus and execute priorities with fewer disruptions. Reflect regularly on commitments that have been accepted and refused. Weekly reviews allow the observation of patterns, which obligations drain energy, which consume time without meaningful output, and which could have been declined earlier. This insight informs future decisions, creating a feedback loop that refines judgment. Reflection ensures that the ability to say no is not static but grows sharper, more confident, and increasingly aligned with core goals over time. Non-essential social obligations, while seemingly minor, often consume disproportionate attention. Learning to tactfully decline events, favors, or casual meetings frees hours for concentrated work or restorative rest. The cumulative benefit of these decisions is substantial. Energy is conserved, focus is deepened, and essential tasks receive consistent attention. The practice creates a rhythm in which attention is applied intentionally, reinforcing both personal productivity and life satisfaction. Saying no extends beyond external obligations to internal distractions. Unplanned activities, impulsive decisions, and mental preoccupations also constitute non-essential commitments. Recognizing when the mind drifts toward low-value engagement and consciously redirecting focus is a parallel practice to declining external requests. Internal discipline mirrors external refusal, creating a holistic approach to time and attention management that ensures all energy contributes meaningfully. Leverage delegation to handle non-essential tasks that must exist but do not require personal execution. Passing responsibilities to others, when feasible, maintains progress while preserving focus for high-value work. Delegation is not avoidance, it is strategic allocation of resources, allowing time and energy to be applied where they generate the most significant outcomes. By combining delegation with refusal, the balance of responsibilities is optimized without compromising results. Establish thresholds for what constitutes acceptable non-essential activity. Some tasks, while not directly impactful, may provide long-term relationship benefits or strategic advantages. Evaluate these selectively and assign them proportionate attention and time. This approach ensures that non-essential activities are not indiscriminately rejected, but are handled deliberately, allowing benefits to accrue without undermining focus on critical work. Discrimination between trivial and strategically valuable non-essential tasks enhances decision-making quality. Visualization strengthens commitment to saying no. Before encountering requests, imagine yourself evaluating them against priorities and declining those that do not contribute meaningful value. Visual rehearsal builds confidence, reduces hesitation, and normalizes the practice. Mental simulation prepares the mind for real-world scenarios, ensuring that declinations are delivered decisively and without unnecessary delay or emotional conflict. Saying no consistently cultivates self-respect and autonomy. Every refusal reinforces personal boundaries, strengthens control over time, and signals commitment to essential goals. Over time, the habit reshapes expectations, both internal and external. Colleagues, friends, and family learn to respect available capacity, and the mind learns that refusing is not failure, but strategic mastery. This principle scales. The cumulative effect of small daily refusals significantly amplifies focus, energy, and output over weeks and months. The ability to decline non-essential commitments daily transforms life into a series of intentional choices rather than reactive drift. It protects cognitive and emotional energy, sharpens focus on what matters most, and fosters sustained progress toward meaningful objectives. Each refusal is a statement of purpose, Time is a finite resource, and it will not be surrendered lightly. By consistently applying this habit, workdays are reclaimed, priorities amplified, and the capacity for deep, productive, and transformative effort is significantly increased. Mastery of saying no is mastery over the demands of others and the distractions of everyday life, creating space for concentrated growth, achievement, and deliberate living. Number 7. Plan mornings for high-value activities only. Mornings are the most powerful segment of the day, yet they are often wasted on low-value routines, distractions, and reactive tasks. The way the first hours after waking are spent sets the tone for productivity, focus, and energy levels for the entire day. Planning mornings for high-value activities only is a discipline that transforms ordinary days into structured opportunities for meaningful progress. High-value activities are those that advance long-term goals, cultivate skill, generate impact, or position you strategically for success. By reserving mornings for these endeavors, the most cognitively potent hours are invested in outcomes rather than trivialities. Begin by defining what constitutes high-value work in your life. This could include critical projects, creative output, strategic planning, skill development, or health-related routines that maximize energy. Avoid conflating activity with productivity. Not all motion contributes to meaningful results. Clarity about high-value tasks allows deliberate scheduling, ensuring mornings are protected for actions that matter most. Without such intentionality, time is easily consumed by low-priority habits that feel urgent but yield minimal return. Preparation the night before enhances morning effectiveness. Set specific goals for the first hours after waking, and outline actionable steps, gathering necessary materials, creating task lists, and identifying priority items reduces decision-making in the morning and eliminates wasted energy. A clear plan prevents the mind from defaulting to reactive behavior, which is often scattered and low value. The evening preparation serves as a mental cue, signaling that the upcoming hours are reserved for focus, productivity, and advancement. The habit of waking early aligns with the principle of high-value mornings. Early hours provide extended stretches of uninterrupted time, allowing for deeper concentration and reflection. Societal distractions are minimal, and personal energy levels are generally higher after rest. By establishing a routine of rising with intention, mornings become a sanctuary for meaningful work rather than a fragmented prelude to reactive busyness. Consistency in this practice develops mental discipline and reinforces the importance of prioritizing peak energy for high-value tasks. Mornings should be insulated from distractions. Phones, messages, social media, and non-critical notifications must be set aside until high-value work is complete. Interruptions during this period erode focus and dilute the benefits of concentrated effort. Creating a controlled environment, quiet space, organized desk, and minimized external interruptions ensures that the brain can engage fully with tasks of significance. Protecting mornings in this way transforms potential into measurable outcomes, where effort directly correlates with achievement. Start mornings with the most challenging or impactful work. High-value activities often require the most cognitive resources, creativity, or strategic thought. Engaging with these tasks first leverages peak mental energy, reducing the risk of avoidance or delay. Completing critical work early generates momentum, instills confidence, and relieves pressure later in the day. Prioritizing impact over ease ensures that the hours with maximum potential produce maximum results. Morning routines should include rituals that enhance mental clarity and readiness. Brief meditation, physical movement, journaling, or reviewing goals primes the mind for focused work. These practices align energy, sharpen attention, and reinforce the mindset necessary for high-value activity. Rituals are not merely habitual. They act as a transition from rest or distraction to deliberate, purposeful engagement. They create a psychological boundary that protects time and energy from being siphoned into low-priority tasks. Batching high-value tasks in the morning increases efficiency. Group-related activities together, such as creative writing, strategic planning, or problem-solving sessions, to maintain cognitive momentum. Avoid fragmenting focus across unrelated tasks during the peak hours of attention. Concentrating similar efforts strengthens depth, accelerates completion, and maximizes the return on energy invested. Structuring mornings in this way leverages the brain's natural affinity for focus and flow. Time blocking reinforces the exclusivity of high-value mornings. Assign specific durations for each critical activity, minimizing the tendency to drift into low-priority work. Fixed intervals create urgency, enhance concentration, and provide measurable benchmarks for productivity. By allocating blocks intentionally, mornings are transformed from reactive periods into structured engines of impact. Awareness of time limits encourages decisive action, accelerates task completion, and preserves energy for subsequent focus sessions. Reflection and evaluation at the end of the morning consolidate gains. Review completed tasks, assess progress toward goals, and identify areas for adjustment. This practice not only ensures accountability, but also informs future planning. Feedback from consistent morning execution builds self-awareness, improves task selection, and strengthens the habit of focusing on high-value actions. Reflection turns each morning into a learning opportunity, reinforcing continuous improvement and sustained achievement. Eliminating non-essential activity during mornings is crucial. Avoid checking emails, browsing social media, or attending to minor tasks before high-value work is complete. These activities are distractions disguised as productivity and erode energy, attention, and initiative. By deferring them until after strategic priorities are addressed, focus remains on what truly advances objectives. The discipline to delay minor obligations cultivates self-mastery, resilience, and clarity. Incorporating personal development into mornings magnifies long-term growth. Reading, skill practice, goal setting, or meditation are examples of high-value self-investment. Allocating time for these activities early leverages high mental energy and ensures consistency in personal growth. When mornings are reserved for development rather than reactive tasks, learning, insight, and progress compound over time. The early investment translates into accelerated skill acquisition and enhanced capability. Visualizing the outcome of morning work enhances engagement. Before beginning, imagine the impact of completed tasks and the progress made toward larger objectives. Visualization strengthens motivation, increases commitment, and reduces procrastination. It creates a mental picture of success that guides effort and clarifies priorities. Each morning then becomes not only a block of time, but a purposeful step toward tangible achievement. Consistency in planning mornings for high-value activities produces cumulative effects. Days built on productive mornings compound into weeks and months of meaningful progress. Habits formed during this period shape decision-making, attention management, and work ethic throughout the day. A strong morning routine serves as the backbone for sustained discipline, focus, and accomplishment. Repetition solidifies behavior, making it instinctive to reserve mornings for critical, outcome-driven work. Boundaries enhance the effectiveness of high-value mornings. Communicate availability and limits to others, ensuring minimal interruptions. Protecting early hours from external demands reinforces the habit, reduces conflict, and preserves mental energy. Boundaries establish the sanctity of time, signaling both internally and externally that these hours are reserved for priority work. Consistently maintained boundaries cultivate respect for personal productivity and commitment. High-value morning planning also involves strategic sequencing. Arrange tasks to maximize momentum and minimize cognitive friction. Begin with high-priority, high-complexity work, then transition to supportive or less demanding tasks as energy wanes. Thoughtful sequencing optimizes attention, reduces decision fatigue, and ensures that the most critical contributions are made when energy is highest. Structured progression creates a natural rhythm, reinforcing the effectiveness of the morning block. Finally, mornings designed for high-value activity establish a framework for purposeful living. They prioritize action over reaction, depth over distraction, and impact over busyness. By consistently dedicating early hours to meaningful work, energy is harnessed where it produces maximum results. Goals advance steadily, and the foundation for daily achievement is secure. This approach transforms ordinary routines into deliberate practice, aligning time, effort, and intention to produce measurable success and sustainable personal growth. Number 8. Review progress weekly to stay accountable. Accountability is the fuel that transforms intention into consistent achievement. Without deliberate reflection, tasks accumulate, priorities blur, and progress toward meaningful goals becomes invisible. Weekly reviews are a powerful tool for maintaining awareness, measuring outcomes, and ensuring that time and energy are directed toward high-value activities. This practice is not about judgment or criticism. It is about clarity, insight, and deliberate adjustment. By setting aside time each week to review progress, individuals gain control over their trajectory, reinforce discipline, and cultivate the habits that lead to sustained success. The first step in a weekly review is gathering all relevant information about the past week. This includes completed tasks, ongoing projects, missed deadlines, and newly arising commitments. Track both quantitative measures, like completed milestones, and qualitative outcomes, such as improvements in efficiency or skill. Documenting these details provides a factual foundation for assessment, allowing insights to emerge without bias or distortion. Accurate recording transforms vague impressions of productivity into a tangible record of accomplishment and areas for improvement. Next, evaluate accomplishments against priorities. High-value work should consistently dominate focus, while low-impact tasks should remain peripheral. Compare the week's output to the goals set at the beginning of the period, identifying areas where effort was aligned with priorities and areas where distractions or non-essential commitments consumed energy. This comparison highlights patterns, clarifies what strategies are working, and exposes where adjustments are necessary. By measuring output relative to intention, weekly reviews reinforce purpose and maintain alignment with overarching objectives. Analyze time allocation critically. Review how much time was devoted to tasks that contribute meaningfully versus tasks that offer minimal return. Look for recurring patterns of inefficiency, such as tasks that consistently overrun, interruptions that repeatedly break focus, or energy misalignment where high-impact work was attempted at suboptimal times. Awareness of these trends is essential for correcting course and creating structures that optimize future productivity. The insight gained allows for intentional adjustments, ensuring time is applied effectively rather than lost unknowingly. Identify obstacles and sources of friction encountered during the week. Delays, procrastination, unexpected emergencies, and resource limitations all affect progress. Examine these occurrences objectively, asking what could have been anticipated, prevented, or managed differently. Developing strategies to address or mitigate recurring obstacles strengthens resilience and prepares for more consistent outcomes in the future. The process turns setbacks into opportunities for learning rather than sources of frustration, cultivating a proactive mindset. Assess personal performance beyond task completion. Consider the quality of decisions, consistency of focus, emotional management, and energy utilization. Were tasks approached deliberately or reactively? Did focus waver under distractions? Was attention consistently applied to high-value objectives? Evaluating performance at this deeper level ensures that accountability extends beyond superficial results and into the habits, mindset, and discipline that sustain long-term achievement. Self-awareness is refined, and corrective measures become more precise. Incorporate reflection on wins and achievements. Recognize progress, however small, and the behaviors that led to it. Celebrating successes reinforces positive patterns, builds confidence, and maintains motivation. Acknowledgement of accomplishments also creates a psychological balance, preventing reviews from becoming solely about shortcomings. Reflection on wins strengthens commitment to practices that produce tangible results, encouraging continued dedication to high-value action. Set actionable goals for the upcoming week based on insights gained. Translate reflection into planning, ensuring that each new week begins with clear objectives and structured priorities. Identify specific tasks, deadlines, and milestones that align with long-term ambition. This forward-looking approach creates a bridge between assessment and execution, transforming insight into measurable, actionable steps. Planning after review ensures continuity of progress and prevents lapses into reactive, low-value activity. Incorporate a system for tracking progress during the week. Use journals, digital apps, or checklists to monitor completion of goals and alignment with priorities. Regularly updating progress provides real-time feedback, making weekly reviews more informative and effective. This system enhances visibility, allowing early detection of drift from objectives and timely corrective action. The combination of tracking and reflection establishes a cycle of continuous awareness and improvement, reinforcing accountability consistently rather than only retrospectively. Integrate accountability with external feedback when possible. Share progress with mentors, colleagues, or accountability partners. External perspective offers validation, alternative insights, and additional motivation to adhere to commitments. Reporting outcomes publicly or to someone with influence creates natural reinforcement, increasing the likelihood of following through on objectives. Coupled with internal reflection, external accountability magnifies consistency, responsibility, and clarity in decision-making. Evaluate the balance between effort and outcome. Not all hours are equally productive, and some tasks, despite consuming time, produce minimal results. Review whether energy was applied effectively and adjust task selection, time allocation, or sequencing accordingly. This process strengthens judgment in future planning and ensures that high-value work consistently receives priority over trivial or unimpactful activity. The review becomes a mechanism for refining both efficiency and strategic focus. Reflect on personal growth and skill development. Identify areas where learning occurred, habits improved, or proficiency increased. Consider gaps that still need attention and design interventions to address them in the upcoming week. Integrating growth assessment ensures that weekly accountability encompasses not only task completion, but also the ongoing enhancement of capability, resilience, and strategic competence. Consistent review fosters cumulative improvement in both performance and potential. Use the review to strengthen habit formation. Identify behaviors that supported success and those that hindered it. Reinforce productive routines by planning repetition and embedding them more deeply into daily practice. Conversely, recognize unproductive patterns and develop strategies to replace or mitigate them. Weekly reflection transforms insight into actionable habit adjustment, cultivating consistent behaviors that compound into long-term mastery and sustainable results. Allocate time to consider alignment with long-term vision. Short-term tasks must contribute meaningfully to overarching goals. Evaluate whether activities during the week advance larger ambitions and adjust priorities accordingly. This perspective prevents focus from drifting toward trivial, urgent, but low-impact matters, and ensures that weekly progress is meaningful in the context of broader objectives. Alignment guarantees that energy is directed toward outcomes that matter most, rather than dispersed across peripheral tasks. Finally, establish a ritual for weekly review. Choose a consistent time and setting, free from interruptions, where reflection, analysis, and planning can occur thoroughly. Approach the review with discipline, curiosity, and honesty. The ritual itself strengthens commitment to accountability, creating a reliable framework for assessing progress and planning future action. Over time, the ritual becomes an integral part of a productive lifestyle, reinforcing self-mastery, focus, and consistent advancement. Regular weekly reviews cultivate responsibility, clarity, and intentionality. They transform abstract ambitions into concrete evaluation, highlight successes and gaps, and inform future planning. By systematically reviewing progress, analyzing outcomes, and adjusting strategies, the individual maintains alignment with goals, maximizes efficiency, and strengthens personal discipline. The practice converts reflection into actionable insight, inertia into momentum, and time into a measurable instrument for achievement. Mastery of weekly review is mastery over one's trajectory, ensuring that energy, focus, and effort consistently produce meaningful results, personal growth, and sustainable progress. Number 9. Automate repetitive tasks to save hours. Repetitive tasks consume more time and energy than most people realize, quietly eroding productivity and focus. Small actions repeated daily, sending routine emails, scheduling appointments, generating reports, or updating records, accumulate into hours that could be redirected toward higher value work. Automation is the antidote to this hidden drain. By creating systems and processes that handle recurring tasks automatically, energy is preserved, efficiency increases, and attention can be devoted to work that produces meaningful results. Automating repetitive activities is not a luxury. It is a strategic decision that multiplies time, reduces mental fatigue, and elevates overall performance. The first step in automation is identifying which tasks are repetitive and rule-based. These are actions that occur frequently, follow predictable patterns, and require minimal creative judgment. Examples include sending reminders, processing invoices, posting content on social media, or compiling data summaries. Once these tasks are cataloged, it becomes clear where time is being spent unnecessarily. Awareness is critical. Many repetitive tasks are performed without conscious recognition of their cumulative impact, leaving productivity fragmented and diminished. Once identified, explore the appropriate tools or systems to automate these tasks. Software applications, scripts, or workflow platforms can handle a wide range of functions without constant manual intervention. Automation can take many forms. Scheduling software can manage appointments. Email filters can sort correspondence. Templates can streamline reporting, and macros can execute complex sequences in spreadsheets. Selecting the right technology requires understanding both the task requirements and available solutions. Effective automation leverages existing capabilities while minimizing setup complexity and ongoing maintenance. Design automation with accuracy and reliability in mind. A poorly configured system can introduce errors, consume additional time correcting mistakes, or create confusion. Clear rules, precise parameters, and thorough testing are essential before fully implementing any automated process. Ensuring reliability preserves trust in the system and allows users to confidently delegate repetitive work without fear of disruption. Reliability is the foundation of automation's time-saving benefits, turning routine tasks into consistent, self-executing processes. Automation also reduces cognitive load. Each repetitive task performed manually consumes mental energy, even if it is simple. By transferring responsibility to a system, the brain is freed from mundane decision-making, conserving focus and attention for more challenging or high-value work. The mental clarity gained through automation enhances creativity, problem-solving, and strategic thinking. In effect, time saved is amplified by the improved capacity for focused, meaningful effort in other areas. Consistency is another advantage of automation. Human performance fluctuates due to fatigue, distractions, or errors, but automated systems operate predictably and continuously. Reports are generated uniformly, reminders are sent reliably, and routine processes are executed without variation. This predictability ensures that outputs are dependable, deadlines are met, and processes maintain quality standards. Consistency reduces the need for constant oversight and follow-up, further compounding efficiency gains. Automation should be integrated into daily workflow thoughtfully. It is not about removing human involvement entirely, but about optimizing where human attention is necessary versus where systems can operate independently. For example, initial input, monitoring, and occasional adjustment may be required, but the repetitive execution is handled automatically. This balance ensures that control is maintained while energy is preserved for tasks requiring judgment, creativity, or interaction. Evaluate the effectiveness of automation regularly. Systems can drift, tasks may change, and technology evolves. Periodic review ensures that automated processes remain aligned with current needs and continue delivering maximum value. Monitoring outputs, identifying bottlenecks, and adjusting rules or tools ensures that automation remains efficient and relevant. Continuous evaluation strengthens the overall workflow, prevents stagnation, and maintains peak efficiency over time. Consider the scalability benefits of automation. As responsibilities increase or operations expand, manual repetition becomes unsustainable. Automated systems allow growth without a linear increase in time investment. A single well-designed automation can handle volumes of work that would otherwise require additional personnel or extensive overtime. By leveraging technology, effort scales while maintaining efficiency and focus on high-value objectives. Automation also fosters strategic thinking. Once repetitive tasks are delegated to systems, attention shifts toward long-term goals, optimization, and innovation. Freed mental capacity allows for planning, improvement of processes, and exploration of new opportunities. The time saved is not merely recovered, but transformed into an investment in growth, skill development, and meaningful achievement. Automation amplifies results far beyond the immediate hours saved. Training and documentation are essential to sustain automation. Clearly defining processes, rules, and expected outcomes ensures that systems operate correctly and can be maintained or adjusted by others if necessary. Documentation reduces dependency on memory or continuous supervision, making automation resilient and sustainable. Effective documentation enhances scalability, reliability, and ease of adaptation as tasks or environments evolve. Automation encourages disciplined task management. When repetitive tasks are systematized, it becomes clear which actions require intervention and which can be left to process. This distinction sharpens judgment, reinforces prioritization, and reduces unnecessary mental clutter. The mind can focus entirely on impactful work, while systems handle predictable and recurring demands efficiently. Security and accuracy are also vital considerations. Automated processes must safeguard sensitive information, maintain confidentiality, and prevent errors that could compromise results. Ensuring safeguards and verification processes protects both the integrity of the work and the reliability of the system. Effective automation balances speed with careful design, creating trust in the system's output. Integration of multiple automation systems multiplies efficiency. Linking workflows so that outputs from one process feed directly into another eliminates redundant steps, reduces errors, and accelerates completion. Integration transforms scattered automation into a cohesive, self-sustaining ecosystem where tasks progress seamlessly without human intervention. This synergy maximizes time savings and enhances productivity across multiple domains. Automation cultivates a forward-thinking mindset. By intentionally designing systems to handle repetitive work, individuals engage in proactive problem-solving rather than reactive task management. Automation shifts focus from managing minutiae to managing outcomes. This shift encourages strategic planning, foresight, and disciplined execution, all of which are essential for accelerated growth and high performance. Finally, automation is a habit of deliberate efficiency. Each automated process is an investment in future time, energy, and clarity. By continuously identifying opportunities to remove repetitive manual effort, a culture of intentional productivity is reinforced. The cumulative effect over days, weeks, and months is profound. Hours once lost to repetition are reclaimed, focus intensifies, and results expand exponentially. Mastery of automation is mastery over time itself, allowing attention and energy to concentrate where it produces maximum impact, growth, and meaningful achievement. Number 10, focus on results, not just busyness. The pursuit of busyness can feel productive, but activity alone rarely equates to meaningful achievement. Filling a day with tasks without measuring their impact creates the illusion of progress, while actual results remain minimal. Focusing on results rather than busyness requires a shift in mindset, from valuing motion to valuing outcomes. It demands deliberate assessment of each action, strategic allocation of energy, and a commitment to measure work against tangible objectives. Success is not found in hours spent, but in objectives accomplished, problems solved, and goals advanced. This focus transforms effort into measurable impact and prevents the exhaustion and frustration that come from meaningless activity. Start by defining clear, measurable outcomes for every endeavor. Every task, project, or commitment should have a specific purpose and identifiable result. Without defined outcomes, it is impossible to know whether actions are effective or merely habitual. Clarity and objectives allows work to be directed intentionally, ensuring that energy is applied where it generates the most significant effect. A day spent working without measurable results may feel busy, but it provides actual progress toward meaningful goals. Prioritize actions that have a direct effect on desired results. It is not enough to be occupied. The work must contribute to the larger objectives. Identify tasks that move the needle on critical projects, generate value, or produce measurable returns. These high-impact activities should dominate focus, while low-value tasks, no matter how time-consuming, should be minimized or eliminated. This prioritization ensures that energy is concentrated on what produces outcomes rather than simply filling time. Track progress rigorously. Monitoring results provides feedback that differentiates between genuine productivity and empty busyness. Track milestones, completed objectives, performance metrics, or any quantifiable measure relevant to your goals. This tracking reveals whether time and effort are translating into meaningful outcomes or simply into the appearance of activity. When results are visible, adjustments can be made proactively to increase efficiency and evaluate tasks regularly against their contribution to results. Question the value of each activity. Does it advance objectives, solve a problem, or create measurable progress? Activities that consume time without producing meaningful outcomes should be reassessed, delegated, postponed, or eliminated. This evaluation fosters a mindset of continuous optimization, where every action is scrutinized for its effectiveness, rather than its mere completion. The discipline to distinguish productive work from busy work is essential for achieving substantial results. Focus on outcomes encourages efficiency and execution. When the emphasis is on results, tasks are approached strategically, with careful planning and deliberate action. There is less tolerance for unnecessary steps, redundant work, or prolonged indecision. Every effort is directed toward achieving the end goal in the most efficient manner possible. This approach reduces wasted time and ensures that energy is applied purposefully, rather than dissipated through repetitive or inconsequential action. Avoid confusing activity with effectiveness. Responding to emails constantly, attending unproductive meetings, or performing routine tasks without impact creates the illusion of being productive. These activities may feel urgent, but contribute little to meaningful progress. Recognizing this distinction is crucial for focusing on results. By consciously choosing to allocate time to work that delivers outcomes, distractions and low-value obligations lose their influence over energy and attention. Implement feedback mechanisms to measure the success of work. Results-oriented focus requires accountability. Whether through self-assessment, performance metrics, client feedback, or team evaluations, understanding the effectiveness of actions ensures alignment with objectives. Feedback informs decisions, validates strategies, and highlights areas for improvement. Continuous feedback loops refine efforts, maximize impact, and prevent drifting into meaningless busyness. Concentrate on fewer, high-impact priorities rather than dispersing effort across numerous minor tasks. Depth of focus amplifies results, whereas spreading attention thin dilutes effectiveness. High-impact activities often require uninterrupted time, deliberate strategy, and concentrated energy. Committing to fewer priorities ensures that each receives sufficient resources to achieve tangible outcomes. This focus enhances the quality, speed, and visibility of results while eliminating wasted motion. Incorporate reflection into routines. At the end of each day or week, assess which actions produced outcomes and which merely created activity. Identify patterns that consistently deliver results and behaviors that do not. Reflection reinforces a results-driven mindset and informs better planning for the future. Understanding the difference between effort and achievement is critical for sustained high performance and prevents the drift into ineffective busyness. Align personal energy cycles with result-driven tasks. Peak cognitive periods should be reserved for high-impact work, while less critical activities can occupy periods of lower energy. Maximizing natural energy for tasks that directly produce outcomes ensures efficiency and effectiveness. Misalignment of energy with task importance often leads to impressive activity that yields minimal tangible results. Conscious alignment of effort with capability enhances productivity and impact. Focus on the impact of each decision. Before committing to any action, ask whether it moves objectives forward. Avoid default acceptance of tasks that feel urgent but are unimportant. Prioritizing actions based on outcome, rather than perceived necessity, ensures that attention is reserved for work that produces measurable benefits. Strategic decision-making prevents wasted time, reduces stress, and reinforces purposeful action. Leverage tools and systems to track, measure, and enhance results. Task management software, analytics platforms, and performance dashboards can provide insight into the effectiveness of activities. Tools should support outcome measurement rather than just monitoring activity. Data-driven awareness of results ensures that work is purposeful, accountable, and directed toward meaningful achievement. Systems that quantify impact create clarity and reinforce discipline in action. Results-focused behavior also demands elimination of habitual, low-value tasks. Rituals that have become automatic, yet contribute little, drain energy and time. Periodically scrutinize routines to remove steps that do not advance objectives. Streamlining activities, eliminating redundancy, and avoiding perfunctory actions ensure that effort is consistently applied to impactful work. Conscious curation of routines maximizes productivity and prevents busyness from masquerading as effectiveness. Strategic delegation is another key principle. Tasks that do not require personal expertise but still contribute to outcomes can be assigned to others. Delegation multiplies effectiveness by allowing focus on areas where personal input has the highest impact. The combination of selective action and delegation ensures that all necessary tasks are completed without unnecessary personal effort, increasing total results delivered without proportional increase in activity. Results-oriented focus fosters long-term growth. By consistently prioritizing effectiveness over mere activity, individuals develop habits, skills, and decision-making frameworks that reinforce strategic thinking. Over time, this creates cumulative advantage. Attention is consistently applied to high-value work, impact grows, and resources are utilized efficiently. Avoiding busyness in favor of tangible results cultivates discipline, clarity, and mastery in both work and life. Finally, maintaining a mindset anchored in results requires continuous vigilance. Busyness is tempting because it provides a sense of accomplishment, yet true achievement comes from producing measurable outcomes. Discipline, reflection, strategic decision-making, and alignment with high-impact objectives are essential. By prioritizing results over activity, energy is conserved, focus is sharpened, and goals are advanced steadily. A life structured around outcome-driven work transforms effort into achievement, intentions into tangible progress, and ordinary days into meaningful contributions that compound into extraordinary results.